Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be going over some of the current meta combos, 5 in particular. Basically, I just want to go over what the pros are doing right now so that you guys can abuse it in your pubs as well. Also, if you just feel like you're behind on the meta, you don't know why you're losing to certain heroes, or you're watching the pro scene and you're confused why they're picking certain things, I'm here today to discuss that. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the gameleap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the gameleap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. Alright, so let's get into it. Starting in at number 1, we have Pango Caudle. Now, there's a couple of current Caudle combos. Basically, Caudle was one of the most buffed heroes of the recent patch. It was actually insane how many buffs Caudle received. He received buff to his ultimate, to Blinding Light, to the Vision of Illuminate, to the Radius of Illuminate, to the cast time of Illuminate. I mean, everything seemingly was buffed about Caudle, and it's showing in his pick rate right now. This hero is being picked like crazy. So, anytime you pick Caudle, you would generally want to abuse Chakra Magic. If you don't really understand how Chakra Magic works or why it's good, when you cast Chakra Magic on someone, not only does it give them mana, give me mana, but it also lowers the cooldown. Depending on the level of Chakra Magic, it either gives 3 seconds off all of your basic abilities, including shard abilities, up to 6 seconds. Now, I did intentionally mention all of shard abilities because it does come into play here, but let's start with Pango. Pango is definitely a very mana-intensive hero. Having a Caudle on your team can eliminate your need for mana boots, which saves a lot of gold and enables you to get an early Blink Dagger, Maelstrom Diffusal, or whatever item you decide to go. Then there's Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit has a million active basic abilities and also has severe mana problems. Caudle fixes this as well. And finally is DK. I wouldn't say DK has horrible mana problems. He kind of can. You can buy a Soul Ring and you're kind of fine. But DK, you have Breathe Fire and your stun, allowing you to just be a very high damage hero, but it also works with Fireball cool enough. DK Shard. So I really love all of these combos. On top of that, anytime you pick Caudle, you really want a hero that can blink in and stun or disable, because otherwise it's very difficult to hit Illuminate. So that is why all of these combos are so popular. Storm is another one. And talking about Storm, that is our second combo I wanted to discuss here today, and that is Storm in general. This is a hero that has been quite favored as of late. However, it's generally, there's some exceptions to this that I've actually seen, but it's generally picked with only Caudle or Io. I'm not going to really explain why Caudle Storm is good. I will say that maybe the one reason people don't realize this combo is better than you even think is because Caudle can recall people. Storm is a hero that naturally burns his entire mana pool. Therefore, when you are out of mana on Storm, what can you do? You can TP back to base. Instead of having to walk back to base or wait for a ton of mana, you can TP back to base, get your mana back, be recalled, and you have full mana, and you can do this in the middle of a team fight. That's insanely good. On that note of recalling and TPing around, we have Io. Io is even better than Caudle for Storm. Why? Because Storm doesn't really benefit from the Chakra Magic lower cooldown. It's alright, but it's a little bit hard to use it in a team fight. Caudle can't really position generally where Storm wants to position, so that doesn't really come into play. However, Io can pretty reliably give Storm mana during a team fight, but especially in between and before team fights. That's the big thing here. Io kind of just gives sort of infinite mana. All you gotta do is buy a Soul Ring on Io. If you spam it off cooldown on the Storm, you're gonna give him a ridiculous amount of mana. On top of that, you buy the occasional Clarity, you can have Stick, you could buy raindrops if you need. I even think that a lot of people should buy mana boots when they have Io Storm on their team. There was even some Storm players who, instead of treads or rushing into the Kaya, would actually go Arcane Boots on Storm when they had an Io. And the reason why is when you Arcane Boot, it gives you the mana, and then it gives Io the mana, and then when it gives Io the mana, Io gives it back. So you get way more than double, right? Because Io, when he has maxed out Tether, I think it's like 1.2 times the amount of heal back, and so he heals up the Storm. But the big thing here is it's just such a good kill combo. Relocate is one of those abilities that is a bit wonky because when you cast it, the enemy can see it, right? They can see on the minimap where you're casting reload. It literally tells you where it's coming from. And so people will disengage, right? They will run away when they see the reload. It's a pretty simple idea to understand. However, Storm with so much chase potential kind of nullifies the disengage, right? You can't really get away. And the only dilemma to this is like, oh, Storm will have to overzip and burn his mana pool, but then IO just gives him the mana back. And so it's kind of just this infinite combo of like so much freaking synergy that pros have realized is good. It's funny, I thought IO Storm has been good forever. I have a notebook back from like 2018 where I'm like, I wonder if you could pick IO as Storm. Because like, you know, you give him mana and you can, you know, reload in places and he can kill people. So this has been an idea that I've personally had for a long time. Pros have used it in the past, but it's really come to popularity as of late, which I think is surprising because it's been good for a while. Next up is CK plus like any lane winner. I would say the main CK combo that I personally like, I think there's two that I think are really devastating in lane. Number one is CK Grimstroke. The level 2 spike here is nasty. The level 3 spike is even like harder to lane against, but man, if you get stunned into into an Inkswell with minus, what is it, 5 armor from CK's W at level 1, oh boy, like you just die. And the thing is, what's really cool about this combo as well, this is a little bit less obvious, but when you pull someone in as CK, it often drags them into the creep wave, right? What is that good with? That's really good with right, the Stroke of Fate from Grimstroke, and so that's a cool little synergy as well that actually comes into play quite often. The bigger thing here is that CK plus any lane winner is just really good right now. You're going to see CK Bane, CK Hoodwink. Really, you can pick a lot of heroes. CK Ogre. Just like anything that can go aggressive is good. CK Undying is nasty. So yeah, this hero is just really strong. I'm not going to lie. I think CK is definitely one of the top heroes right now. And basically why is he's a top tier laner, 325 movement speed. I think he has 5 or 6 base armor, 70 base damage. Basically, it's like 63, you know, 70 when you buy your gauntlets and so on. And infinite sustain in lane. Your E, it just gives you so much sustain. And the thing is, the E was buffed recently. Wildly buffed. 50% bonus damage to creeps. It got the Spirit Breaker Bash treatment. 50% extra damage to creeps. However, it's even better than Spirit Breaker in terms of the buff because you're constantly farming as this hero. On top of that, when you lifesteal, if you do more damage to the creep, you heal for more, right? And so this hero was wildly buffed. On top of that, you can just really tell the difference when you're farming Ancients with your Phantasm and you're clearing waves. The crits just rip through these Ancient camps. You just feel like you have infinite sustain and damage when it comes to farming. And this was a big dilemma to the hero for like the longest time. Now it's just not, right? The farming speed, you farm really, really fast. On top of that, your shard, everyone buys it now. And the reason why is it spawns a Phantasm illusion when you stun. It increases the range of your stun too, which is like wildly useful by 300, which is like, wait, it's 75 more cast range than an Aether Lens, which is nutty in and of itself. But it's that, and then you use it to farm, right? Like, yeah, you can use it in team fights to kill a support. Like, literally, you can stun a support and it nearly solo kills them, which is pretty wild to think about. It's like a 7-second cooldown if you take the bolt stun duration talent, or the bolt cooldown talent. And so yeah, it's just such a versatile hero, which has not really been the case in the past. It's been kind of one track. Now I think you can play this hero even against illusion heroes or anti-illusion heroes because you can buy the shard and like kind of kite the outside of the fight. Like it's totally a playstyle. It's sort of like the PL shard. So yeah, this hero wildly versatile, super good. You pick it with a lane winner and you just kind of own a lot of the current offlaners as well, especially a lot of the ranged offlaners that have come back into the meta, such as Necro and even DP. I actually think if there's any carry that is good against DP, I think CK is absolutely one of them because you can burst through her and she has some armor problems. Next up is Mars. Mars plus Hoodwink, Coddle, or Weaver. There's a lot more fours you can kind of interchange here, but I would say Hood and Coddle are my favorite two. Just heroes that can follow up the arena, right? Heroes that can guarantee the kill. Sometimes arena isn't enough to kill heroes in the early game. The tankier ones, the heroes that get towards that 14, 15, 1600 HP range, the Kunkas and so on, you know, having a +1 here enables the kill. But the reason why this combo is so popular is really because you can first phase it. A lot of teams, when they have second pick right now in the pro scene, what they're doing is they're just picking Mars plus a range support. And the thing is, it loses almost no lanes. Mars has honestly basically no bad matchups. You can play basically every matchup as Mars. I'm not gonna lie. There's no hero that comes to mind that I'm like, you can't play against it. Even like Monkey King, it's not that bad. Like, it's totally playable. And then the mid game is good because you chop down the trees, you can spear him out of arena. I mean, his Wukongs, it's like, you might be like, oh, Ursa, not really. Because like, you push him back and Ursa has sustain issues early on and Mars is a heavy chip damage hero. So like, you have a lot of issues there. So yeah, it's one of these combos where if you don't know what to pick and your team needs a stun and you're afraid you're going to get counterpicked, Mars is just good every game. I don't think there's a game where Mars is a shitty hero. And if you're having a bad game, it's probably more on you and less on your hero. And finally, last but not least, is DP plus literally anything. This hero is just straight up busted. It does way too much as a 5, 3, 2, any role. You can probably put it as a 1. People can play it as a 4 as well. Really, if you get good at DP and you understand how to push your limits, which is a little bit difficult, but if you learn it, man, this hero is pretty freaking good. Nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!